The question we have to ask ourselves is, where do we go from here? Do we embrace chaos or a coming together of minds and country? What is to be done? What is to be done? I propose.
Na mpenzi mtazamaji, baada ya siku nzima, baada ya Wakenya kuweza kumngojea kiongozi wa upinzani Raila Amolo Odinga kuweza kuhudhuria ile rally yake ya pale Kamkunji kama alivyotangaza hapo awali, lakini ameweza kuahirisha ama kucancel ile rally pale Kamkunji na akaweza kuelekea Serena Hotel ambapo ameweza kuhutubia waandishi wa habari na akatoa mapendekezo ambayo anahisi kuwa yataweza kusaidia nchi ya Kenya, haswa yale malilio ama matakwa ya hawa vijana wa Gen Z. Na niko hapa na baadhi ya speech yake ambayo ameweza kutoa mapendekezo ambayo anahisi kuwa ataweza kusaidia nchi hii kuweza kusonga mbele in terms of development. Ameweza kuzungumzia pia mambo na police reforms. Ameweza pia kutoa mapendekezo kuwe na ile kitu ambayo anaita intergenerational national dialogue ama conclave, ambapo vijana waweze kuja pamoja ili waweze kutoa mapendekezo yao na hayo mapendekezo yaweze kuweza kupitia katika ile kura ya referendum. Kwa hivyo bila kuongea mengi sana, ningependa kuweza kuchezea ile speech ya Raila Amolo Odinga pale Serena.
Saba had a singular purpose, to the repeal of Section 2A of the Constitution and allow multi-party democracy in Kenya. Saba had clear and known national conveners, Kenneth Matiba, Charles Rubia, and yours truly, Raila Odinga. It was what gave birth to a bigger and powerful forum for the restoration of democracy, FORD. FORD had a known nationally inclusive leadership. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Philip Gachoka, Ahmed Bamariz, Salim Damwe, Asinde Muliro, George Ndenge, Kenneth Matida, Charles Rubia, among others. Saba was inclusive, democratic, and intergenerational. The old, the young people in and out of the government, professionals, academics, trade unionists, civil society, women groups, and religious groups. All of them found their voice in what it stood for, a people's struggle for good governance, freedom, and equal opportunity for all. It was not one group against the entire nation. It was not community against that community, or of this age against that age. The movement stood for a peaceful and constitutional change of guard. That is the reason it focused singularly on amendment and later on the overhaul of the Constitution. These features are what made Saba succeed. A year after the march, on December 2nd, 1991, President Moi capitulated. Section 2A of the Constitution was removed. Multipartyism was reinstated. We achieved our core aim, which was to return Kenya to multipartyism. Today, we have more parties than one could imagine then. That single amendment paved the way for the complete overhaul of the Constitution and the birth in 2010 of a new Constitution that came with provisions for fundamental freedoms and liberties that our citizens enjoy today. It is clear that many of the ideals espoused by the dreamers behind Saba have become part of the national aspiration. We are a better nation because Saba happened. We have a duty and a responsibility to honor the men and women who dared to dream and to turn out at a time of great peril to themselves and their families. 35 years later, the country is grappling with a new wave of unrest and political activism. The question we have to ask ourselves is, where do we go from here? Do we embrace chaos or a coming together of minds and country? As a living architect of the events leading to the Saba, I choose a coming together of minds and country in the interest of the country. I long fought for its progress, stability, and prosperity. The most important struggle taking shape in our country today is economic opportunity and equality. The biggest challenge facing Kenya today and into the foreseeable future is how to expand economic opportunity and lift particularly young Kenyans out of poverty, exclusion, and unemployment. Kenyans are yearning for programs and leaders that prioritize economic inclusivity, social justice, and political freedom. There is no doubt that the country is yearning for legislation that makes our institutions more responsive, programs that ensure adequate funding for services that touch wananchi, changes that make our judiciary free, efficient and progressive, measures that make the executive more accountable and efficient. We must end impunity and corruption within our three arms of government. Our leaders must become modest, ethical, humble, and accountable. What is to be done? What is to be done? I propose an inclusive, intergenerational, national conclave to hear our people across all divides and come up with irreducible reforms and changes necessary to take the country forward. I propose that the country urgently returns to the agenda of comprehensive police reforms, focusing on enhancing accountability, transparency, and improving the police-to-people relationship. Your rogue police force that shoots people with impunity. And this is a force that we inherited from the colonialists. It has not been reformed to become a people's defender, a people's servant. I propose that the conclave comes up with better and sustainable ways for addressing transparency, accountability, and impunity, especially with regard to corruption, and ensuring that leaders are held accountable for their actions. I propose that the forum comes up with a comprehensive and sustainable strategy for addressing youth unemployment and expansion of opportunities for youth in the formal and informal sectors. Such a national conclave must have clear terms of reference and be populated and helmed by the most serious and sober minds in our nation. The proceeds of the national dialogue be subjected to a referendum.
Na mpenzi mtazamaji, baada ya kusikiza taarifa hiyo ya Raila Amolo Odinga, baada ya kuweza kuahirisha ama kucancel ile rally yake pale Kamkunji, labda una maoni yapi kuwa kulingana na hii speech ambayo Raila Amolo Odinga ameweza kuitoa na yale mapendekezo ambayo ameweza kuweka, ambapo anahisi kuwa yakiweza kutekelezwa nchi hii itaweza kusonga mbele na yale matakwa sana sana ya Wakenya haswa majenzi yataweza kutatuliwa. Labda wewe una maoni yapi, na je, hatua ambayo Raila ameweza kuichukua ile kuweza kusitisha ile ziara yake ya kuelekea kule Kamkunji ni jambo la busara, ama kwa mtazamo wako una maoni yapi? Ningependa kuweza kujua kwenye comment section. Nitakuwa nafuatilia na tuweze kuendelea kuzungumza tukifuatilia hizi taarifa za Saba.